Today, December 26, 2018, we are recording a conversation with Dr. Martin Gittelman, age 77, about his activities as a member of the Medical Committee for Human Rights, which was formed to assist the work of civil rights workers in the South who were registering voters during the summer of 1964. Dr. Gittelman's significant other, Juliana Lipschitz, is joining us. My name is Stephanie Kipp, and I am audio recording this discussion. The following are the highlights of Dr. Gittelman's academic background and career. He received his Doctor of Philosophy in Clinical Psychology from Columbia University in 1966. He worked as a clinical psychiatry educator and managed care consultant. His career is lengthy, diverse, and very impressive. I'll just give some of the highlights: that you were an adjunct clinical professor in clinical psychiatry at the New York Medical College. You worked in the Bronx at the Lincoln Health and Mental Health Hospital. You did a lot of international work: China, the Philippines, West Africa, Vietnam, Korea. And you were the director of the Advanced Institute of Psychosocial Rehabilitation. I just covered the top of all of your credentials. Is there anything else you'd like to add about your career?
I worked at Einstein also.
You were at Einstein Hospital in New York City.
Alberta School of Medicine.
Okay.
I interned there.
Oh, okay, that's where you interned. Okay. Very good, thank you. Mr. Gittelman, Dr. Gittelman, was mentioned throughout the definitive book about this period of time, written by John Dittmer. The book is entitled The Good Doctors, the Medical Committee for Human Rights, and the Struggle for Social Justice in Healthcare. I'd like to read one passage from the book summarizing Dr. Gittelman's background and involvement in the Medical Committee for Human Rights, which we will hereafter refer to as the MCHR. The son of immigrant parents, Marty Gittelman was brought up in a Jewish neighborhood in New York. He attended City College, did his graduate work in psychotherapy, and was...
Sorry, it wasn't a Jewish neighborhood.
It was where?
It was not a Jewish neighborhood.
Okay.
Where I grew up.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up on 161st Street.
Okay.
And between Amsterdam and Broadway, and it was a Catholic neighborhood.
Okay.
And we were frequently beaten because we were non-believers in God.
Okay.
By the kids. But fortunately, I made friendship with a black brother, and he was a big, strong guy who came every morning to pick me up from school at home and brought me to school and then home again. And so that made things safe in the neighborhood. So he was a terrific guy.
He was your guardian angel.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Lollipop, right? Somebody.
Lollipop Nipida.
Okay.
He came from Nigeria.
Oh, okay.
And he married a lady from New Jersey, Florence Gold. And then they went home to see his mother an effort to introduce his new wife to her. I went with them. But as they approached the village, they were stopped by thieves who robbed and killed them.
How terrible. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Fortunately, I was not killed.
Wow, that is very sad. Well, okay. My condolences. That's a real loss. Now, let me continue the description of you in this book. It said you were a clinical psychologist on the staff of Jacobi Hospital?
Right.
Okay. In the spring of 1964, when you learned about the plan to bring health care workers to Mississippi. An early and enthusiastic volunteer, Gittelman spent time in Cannon before going on up to Greenwood. The Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, otherwise known as SNCC, had a major project there, and the organization's national headquarters for the summer activities was there. Shortly after he arrived in the Delta, Gittelman recognized, this is your quote, what would become known as post-traumatic stress disorder, people who had been traumatized by a whole host of things. Here, Gittelman began to experiment with group therapy, a discipline that would become his life's work. Every night at the Freedom House, the young psychologist would, again quoting you, get people to sit down and talk about the events of the day and how they felt about it, particularly the folks who had been in jail and traumatized and abused. Most people welcomed these sessions, although, as you said, a few kids walked around angry, irritable. Gittelman found race no barrier and was happy to be an outside professional to speak with. He remembers several conversations with project director Stokely Carmichael. Said the two of you went to the same high school? Is that
Yeah.
right? Okay. And Carmichael was disillusioned with his current role in the civil rights movement and spoke to you about his desire to leave Mississippi and enroll in medical school. Others talked frankly to Dr. Gittelman about their own fears and aspirations. Okay. I understand there was a physician, Dr. June Feiner, and the two of you also had a project in Greenwood where you organized young people to build an outdoor shower and construct a system that would pipe hot water into the community. Does that sound familiar? Was that a big project to do?
I'm not sure if it's big,
Okay.
but it was, a lot of work.
When you were there, do you think your personal focus was more on providing health care or civil rights?
Both. Both.
Okay. Did you have hopes of helping fix the overall healthcare system in Mississippi in the South, or did you think your emphasis would be on individual patients, civil rights workers, whatever?
That would be a start off.
Okay. Good idea, and then hopefully the whole system would start changing. Okay.
But you did.
Did you have any interactions with any of the local black physicians?
Yeah.
What was that like?
How do you mean?
Well, do you think they were happy you were there?
We worked together.
Okay.
They were my brothers. And I don't think there were any women doctors
Oh, really?
among them. I don't recall a woman doctor. I'm not sure.
Okay. Getting back to when you decided to join this group, you were a psychologist at Jacobi. Were you afraid by joining this group that it might affect your career?
I don't think so.
Okay. You weren't worried anybody would say you were a communist or anything like that?
It wasn't a big deal then.
Okay. That was probably a few years earlier, back in the 50s. Now, you know, a week before this group of healthcare people got together in Jacobi Hospital, which I understand was known for social justice activities, a week before you and other people got together to talk, should we go down south, the 3 civil rights workers, James Chaney, Andrew Goodman, and Mickey Schwerner, all disappeared from the South. Do you remember that at all? Yeah, do you think in any way their disappearance may have inspired you to go down south? You do? Okay. Did you feel there was any friction between the members of the medical committee and the people you met? Maybe they thought, these are all white healthcare people, most of us are African American. Did you ever run into that concern?
No, never.
Okay.
Never. They were very friendly and very helpful to us because this was the South and we were a little concerned about the Klan killing us. And the local people protected us and they were terrific.
I read in this book that some civil rights workers were advised always to travel in pairs. Did anybody tell you to do that, not to be driving? Because you used to drive people also to the register, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they said, be careful.
Okay. Good idea. So, I was reading in this book about battle fatigue. I don't know if that was a term they just labeled the people during this civil rights movement, but they said just being out there, whether it was a local person or somebody helping local people to register to vote, could be very upsetting to them after a period of time. So you used to have talks with people about that?
Yeah.
And what would they tell you? Do you remember any of the things that people told
Well,
you?
it was dangerous, and but they weren't involved anyway. But after a while, it was a problem.
Okay.
Because the Klan was, was always around, always shooting. I remember being having dinner and they came by in a car and fired bullets into the building, and we were lucky we survived by lying under the table. But they were, there was no problem about their killing us.
Stokely Carmichael, do you remember him? He was the head of the students' nonviolent coordinating committee.
Right.
Yeah. Do you remember talking with him at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a pretty smart guy from what I hear. And, the man that wrote this book, I spoke with him on the phone that I was coming to meet you, and he said it was to your credit that Stokely Carmichael, a very famous African-American activist, felt that he could trust you and talk so easily to you.
We had no problems talking.
Okay. One last question. Was there anything you learned from this experience going down south?
Yeah, it was possible to be effective in working with black people and friendly white people and changing the whole situation.
Okay.
So it was necessary to do it, to make America what America was supposed to be.
Do you think this experience also influenced your career after that? In sense that you did a lot of work with a lot of different people, from where they live to their economic background. I'm wondering if that maybe was the start of your focus on public health and reducing trauma and mental trauma and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe this was the beginning point for that.
Well, I'm not sure it was the beginning point. It was beginning and continuing.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, because we used to do that kind of stuff in my neighborhood too, where there was a lot of racism.
So you would talk to some of the people in the neighborhood, try to get them more open-minded?
Oh yeah, organize them and doing what needed to be done. My friends, Des Putterman, Dean Koretz, Bob Pliskin, all of them got organized. Yeah. We used to talk about it and say, it's time all this bullshit, racism ended.
Were your parents also open-minded?
And my father, yes.
Mm-hmm.
My mother wasn't political at all.
Okay. Anything else you want us to know about that summer you were in Mississippi?
No.
Okay. Thank you very much for talking with me.
You're welcome.